The morning after I dropped out of high school, I woke up before dawn in my father's empty house, thinking about the slow death of the universe. It smelled like Old Spice and middle-aged sadness in the guest room, and this was probably at least part of the reason for my thoughts of total cosmic annihilation. The other part, I blame on physics. The class, I mean, not the branch of science. It was one of the last subjects I tried to study before I made the decision to liberate myself from Quaker school, driving 5 hours through Iowa farm country to make my daring escape. I did the drive without stopping, listening to religious radio fade in and out of classic rock, which sounded something like this. Our God is an awesome God, and oh, that smell, can't you smell that smell? The smell of death surrounds you. All I could smell was fertilizer. And as the empty fields and pinwheeling wind turbines passed by my window, I tried not to think too hard about how I had let things get to this point. And I tried even harder not to think of the improbable person I had come to love, who would no longer be in my life. But back to the universe for a moment. There seems to be no real consensus about how it's all going to end. And that's what had me worried in the pre-dawn hours. If the worst is going to happen, as it always does, I'd at least like to know some details. But current theories are too varied to be of any real help. Some people think the Big Bang is just going to happen in reverse. Like, bang! Everything to nothing. Deal with it, fools. Other people think that outer space is just going to go dark and cold, stars blinking out like candles on an interstellar birthday cake. And still, others think that time itself will come to an end, like an old man's watch that someone forgot to wind. If forced to choose, I'd probably go with the last option. Not because it sounds like a barrel of laughs, but if it's all going to freeze like the last frame of an 80s movie, I think I could deal with it as long as I get to pick the right moment. For example, I could be jumping off a cliff, locked in flight like a majestic Pegasus. Or I could be mid-hiccup, frozen in a deranged bodily spasm for all of time. Or maybe I could just round up all the people I've disappointed in the last few months and issue one giant apology before it all goes still. I could shout it through a megaphone. I am Tess Fowler, and I've made terrible mistakes. My bad. Please enjoy the void. And I guess if someone twisted my arm, I might also opt for an eternal orgasm. The long bang, if you will. But the key here is that I want the power. I want to know when it's going to happen, and I want the ability to choose my last act when the time comes. Because lately, I've been feeling like I don't have much control at all. Dropping out of high school, as it turns out, is only mildly empowering. It is remarkably easy, though. All you have to do is wake up one morning and realize that you are failing the shit out of all of your classes, you have alienated most of the people who were once your friends, and you haven't really felt like a functioning human being for well over a month.